I'm Timmy.
I'm Justin.
I'm Nathan.
And this is Three Old Tech Dudes. What we got this time around?
So this is a 20 meter cut dipole. So it's specifically for the 20 meter amateur radio band, or the 14.3 megahertz band that is in North America. Well, in most of the world, I think, actually. But
I think so.
So this is an antenna that you will not need to have a tuner with to make it be properly resonant on an amateur radio band. We'll talk eventually here. So you can turn your transmitter to 20 meters, and you will not require a tuner to make this match.
Why wouldn't I want a tuner?
Well, tuners work well, but they also introduce some loss. Mind you, it's very, very negligible, but it does introduce some loss. Whereas this is straight from the transmitter through the coax right to the antenna itself.
And it should, with minimal tweaking, should allow you to have a reasonable standing wave ratio, or SWR. So.
Yeah, and you can trim these and that kind of stuff to make them be perfect, or you could run a tuner if you needed to. I mean, you could make this work.
Inductance on the tuner to even make this work, which is ideal too.
Yeah, it can be done quite easily, quite simply with a very cheap tuner, which we'll show in a later video. We have a few of those.
We do indeed.
Anyway, so we'll show how you make one of these, and we'll actually make this one, and go from there.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay. So I'm going to give it just a little bit extra for around this thing. Okay. So now I'm making a very, very not coiling nicely 20 meter dipole. Specific dipole cut for 20 meters.
Sorry.
Which is two legs of 16.4 feet. Yeah, which is actually, which I just screwed up to. 16 feet 5 inches, which I just screwed up. That's what it is. Okay. So that will become something else. Anyway. So let's try this again. So I need, the table is 6 feet, we measured it.
Oh, you're not going to do your little speed through thing like you did with the other?
No, because I screwed up. That's 6. There's 12.
Got it.
So 13, 14, 15, 16, and 5. So I'm going to give it, it's there, I'm going to give it a little bit extra because I'm going to loop around the ends. So I'll actually put it there. There's one. And then, if I can do it right. It's just a trick. Yeah, you just make sure they go through the same, through everything at the exact same time, the same rate, and then I have 2 cables that are within a 1/4 inch of basically identical. Alright. Now the other thing I'm going to do this time, which I didn't do last time, and then it took me 20 minutes to unwind this thing. That's alright, I had to unwind the rope. Alright. They're good. One.
Still get them mixed up.
Yeah. Now, the calculations for figuring out how long you're supposed to do it is actually quite simple. So a dipole is a halfway, or halfway dipole. So your feed point is in the center, or 1/4 wave. So in feet, it's easy enough. You take 234 divided by the frequency, and it gives you this length in feet. So when it gets to like 16.4, you can subtract 16, take 0.4 times 12, you get how many inches, and there you go. So, simple way to do it. Easy.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to actually do another cheap thing, which is not the best way to do this, I know. And I'm going to kind of do what we did on the previous N10 build and just run it all through Fields 59 connector in the center. And you should use dog bone, I know. I'll grab a dog bone. Yeah. So I'm going to do one side at a time. Now one will go to the center conductor, the other will go to the shield, which is ground. And it's just a simple type. So in this case, I'm just going to kind of do it like this. Actually, I should do ground. Yeah, I'll just use it as a spacer. Or should I actually go ahead? I don't think it matters.
I don't think so.
Maybe that one though.
Yeah, that's true.
Or on your solder iron, of course.
I've done that a couple times in my life. Down there, you don't have anything to thread.
Oh yeah, did that while it going went. And then do it, redo it.
Yep. Been there. I think I went through together a 17-meter dipole in 10 minutes once.
Yeah. So.
Worked the world.
Yeah, and keep in mind, these are quick antennas to throw up. They're not complicated, hardcore. Not yet. The nice thing is that on 20 meters, on 20 meters, you will not, because it is a cut 20 meter dipole, and we're going to trim it to make it right. You will not need to use a tuner. So straight out of the transmitter, right into the antenna. So there's less losses built into it just because of the fact there's really nothing to get cause loss other than the coax itself. So solder the center pin on this first. So that's that one. And I'll do same kind of thing on the other side of this.
Picture of it.
Either one, yeah. That's fine. So you can see how that looks. Yeah, I know I need to clean it yet, but that's soldered. So you got the one wire just come through solder, and the other one I'm going to solder it across this point in here. So it's a little more tricky to get that to kind of feed through, but it's not that complicated. And I'm feeding it through this, through that, which I'm going to do that. Yeah. I'm really doing this kind of this way because it would be a really quick field day antenna. Because you can just put a coupler on the end of this and just attach it and go. Which is kind of handy. So, yeah. So you can kind of see how I've wrapped that around there just to make a good contact, and it's mechanically solid. Now I'm going to solder it in place. I'm trying not to burn myself, because that's painful.
Yeah, it is.
Burns hurt. We up to, yeah, okay. The only problem with doing this is it does take a while for the solder to melt onto these connectors. Mm-hmm. And you want to make sure it actually melts onto it, and not the table. Because it forms a mechanical and electrical bond. So a cold solder joint may mechanically be solid, but it may not be electrically connected. And it takes a while to heat everything up, so be patient. Bigger iron, a bigger tip will work a little quicker, but you also have the possibility of literally burning the, pieces and.
Bursting into flame or in.
Well, you
Yeah, you
burn,
can melt
you
your
melt the.
insulation. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're doing it with coax, you could literally melt the center conductor or the
That's
center
happened to me
insulation.
once. You gotta watch that.
Yeah.
It's just a
So
mere 260 watts.
yeah, so get the irons that glow in the dark, or glow in full bright sunlight, and you can see them glowing.
Like they
It's
underwater
red.
welder guns for this, but you really got to be careful if you're working coax because it'll start the shield will start coming right through the center insulation.
Yeah, big time. Because you got to heat the
'Cause,
entire.
yeah, it's
this
hard to
entire
get it to
thing up,
adhere
yeah.
to the shield on those connectors.
Yeah, because this thing is running right now at 688 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty warm.
A little bit.
A little toasty.
And you can tell if you get it too hot when you tap your solder to it, it'll like almost spark, but it's like the flux core is exploding out of that. You got it too hot. And when I get done, it should be shiny. You can see where I kind of like touch it a little bit to give it a little bit more flux where it shines up. After a little bit, it dulls back down. I'm also moving back and forth a little bit to just kind of trying to get the thing to heat up. Because these connectors, there's so much mass to them that it takes a while for it to heat through properly. Come on. But you can see where it's now starting to melt over here and stay liquid. That's what you want because it will start to actually contact and bond to the metal. Because you're basically sticking two pieces of metal together using a liquid metal in the middle. So, and you see where it flows all the way across there naturally now. So, if you're looking at it, let me use the probe to point with. So, you can see where it started to cool down. It's now solid. It cools down pretty quick. It smells like dead fish, too. Which is bad. Yeah, a joyous smell of solder flux. But you can see where it's actually bonded rather nicely to things. That's what you want. Now, keep in mind it's going to be crazy hot, and you trim this other end off here. So I'm going to cut this, and these fly, so you want to kind of. So then you get this, which is not pretty necessarily, but it will work.
Yep.
And then keep in mind that thing is still like crazy hot. Probably light a match off of it hot. If I can get that thread on there, it'd be nice. There we go. Hey,
Get warm.
yeah, it's still warm enough. I'll wait. Yeah, it's warm. It won't take terribly long. So what we'll do is I'll scoot this up in the back of this, and then it'll the stress should for the most part be on that dog bone. And then at the end of this, we'll put a couple more dog bones that we can run a rope through. Now, any plastic that's non-conductive, including you could use, if you were not in wet and you needed something that's just for a day, even the core of like a piece of tape will work as a dog bone insulator for very short term, like a field day use only type thing. Lots of things you can use. Don't, however, expect the insulation on this to stop. If you use like this and another piece of this and you just hook them together, that will cause it to arc through.
Yep.
You need more than that. And dog bones are cheap.
Yeah, I usually pick up a bag of them anytime I can get some.
Yeah.
I've had the ceramic ones. I like those plastic ones a lot because they're so light.
Yeah, and these won't, if you drop it, they won't break.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I paid, like I paid, I want to say it was a couple dollars for a bag of 6 of these. And what we find on Amazon, it was
20 10 pack for like $16.
Yeah, so that's not bad. That's decent. So on the end of this, then you put a coupler and you hook up another piece of coax. And then you get that. Which isn't great, but this is a quick field day throw together antenna that you can build in what, 20, 25 minutes
If
maybe?
even that long, yeah. It'd take very long.
Yeah. So I'll cut this back now. We'll go ahead and yeah, if you're just doing this for field day, you wouldn't necessarily need to solder this. I still recommend it though on the ends, mainly for mechanical, not electrical contacts. So in this case, I just don't want it to unwind. By the way, don't do as I do, do as I say. Use glasses. Safety glasses, safety first. Yeah, I'm old and I've done this for so many years at this point. I've never actually got solder in my eyes, but I have got
That would be bad.
flux before.
Really?
Popped into my eye and that hurt like son of a gun for a few days. Yeah. You know, go to your local hardware store, get a pair of like just the cheap, clear, sunglass looking safety glasses, because you're not worried about like metal fragments flying. You're not using like a welder or a grinder or something. This is just more of really just to keep the flux from splattering in your eyes. Yeah, you should do that. Let's do that. So the only other thing to look at is that, let me use your phone on this real quick, is that this point right here could get tugged on real hard, and it could potentially break into the metal, which on the ground wouldn't hurt, but on the hot side would certainly cause you problems. So what I'm going to do to kind of alleviate that issue is come in here with a zip tie and zip tie it a little further up, just like there. That way it'll be pulling against the zip tie, not against the other thing. Cut off your ends. Ta-da! 1 meter dipole.
Nice.
That's all you really need, and then you'll need coax to attach it. Quick field day antenna.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this antenna build. I sure did. I learned a lot, like how to. I hadn't seen an antenna built like this, using the PL259 as the basis for it, as well as how to solder onto the shield properly. I'd done that once or twice, but mine usually don't hold up for very long. It seems like.
The mechanical connection on those requires a little finesse on to understand how to make it connect to bond the metal together.
Sure.
But once you understand how that works, it's really easy and it's effective. And I shouldn't hit the mic. Big thumpy sound. Sorry. But these antennas are really quick. You can throw these together in about 30 minutes, give or take. And they're great for like quick field day, or if you just needed something. This would stay up and probably work for 6 or 8 months like this without having to do anything else to it.
Sure.
If you wanted longer, there's a few things I'd recommend doing for like long term up. You definitely want to seal a few parts and things like that. But for a quick field day throw together, or like contesting or whatever, fast, easy, simple, doesn't require a tuner.
And cheap.
And cheap,
And
very,
cheap.
very cheap, yeah. You could make this for less than $10. Yeah, so
Yep.
you can buy one for like 50 or build one for less than 10.
This is built out of wire you bought at the Columbus Hamfest last year,
Yes,
isn't it?
this
Yeah.
is the wire that I actually used, that I bought at the Columbus Hamfest for. I think I paid $5 for the
For a
spool.
spool, so
Yeah.
I mean, we made this antenna and 2 others, and there's still quite a bit left on
yeah.
the spool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
There's a lot to be said for long wire antennas on HF. HF you can get away with a lot, and this
Yeah.
is and being horizontally polarized like this would hanging between trees is ideal for that band with
Yeah.
the atmospheric
This is
skip that is involved.
this is a very heavily used band.
Oh,
the
yeah.
20 meter band is. So yeah, the center on this one is dead center in the middle. When we cut it, I cut it right, basically dead center in the middle of the voice band.
Mm.
So yeah,
There you
it
go.
should look pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well, until next time, I'm Timmy,
I'm Justin.
I'm Nathan.
and this is Three Old Tech Dudes. See you next week.
Bye.
See ya.